Hello, Dave. Today is Sunday, the 10th of April, 2022. I am the Bro 9000, and I trust you are all functioning well today. Today, we are talking the muses for the week and all that shite that has been happening in Hollywood. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, everybody. I am Mr. Brown, and welcome to the show. Hope you're all well. Shall we start as we mean to go on? So let's just get straight to it and get the guests out. First up, he's back for more punishments. It's What Geek himself, the wonderful Matt Katz, 83.
What's up, nerds?
Hey, buddy, you okay?
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you up to speed with this week's events, as it were?
Yeah, I've watched some of the stuff that's on the list.
Is it a quiet week or?
I mean, it's been an uneventful week for shows. Most of the stuff I don't like, but yeah,
it's been quite quiet. But you're doing well, yes? Your channel okay? Going good, yes?
Yeah, it's going great. It's going great.
And you're looking forward to chewing the fat, as it were?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you know what my next question is, don't you?
Yeah. What is it?
Shall we get the next guest out?
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Okay, so good to have you back again, mate. So,
thank you for having me.
Sometimes in life, you just have to slum it with the peasants. It's the posh boy himself. It's the wonderful. He's been given a name upgrade, Lord Cord.
See, when you said peasants, I just assumed it wasn't going to be me, so you caught me mid-vape. Thank you very much.
Are you well, buddy?
I am under the weather, but I'm otherwise well. Yes, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. You looking forward to chewing some gristle?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm always up to chew the fat, so it's all good.
So you know what my next question is, don't you, my friend?
Something about guests, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get the next body out. Okay, he's the jester from Leicester. He's a Star Wars fan, every sense of the word. I'm thinking this off the cuff. He's writing his own Star Wars novel. Watch out, War and Peace. He's not been on the channel for a few weeks. He's been a busy boy. It's the wonderful Swappity Swap.
Hey, hello, everybody. Good to see you again.
Good to have you back, mate. You all right?
Thank you very much. Yeah, just recovering from a little bit of exercise late at night, but hey, it's Sunday, no work. I'm making the most of it.
How's the artisan stuff going?
All right, yeah, busy with that. Busy making some new artwork and selling them off to a few people, which is always good. And most of the time spent writing, though, mate. So that's tough work.
Have you finished that book yet?
Oh God, no, I haven't finished it. It's getting towards the latter end of it, though, thankfully. But it's just one of those things where everyone thinks writing a novel is you sit there and you tippity tap for hours, and then you've done a novel, and they don't realise that a lot of it just sitting there thinking, like hours of just thinking before you write one word. It's like so annoying. So it's a painstaking process, but at least it's going somewhere and it is approaching the end. So I'm quite happy about that. Thanks, man.
For the uninitiated, he's writing a Star Wars novel, boys and girls. So you know what my next question is, don't you?
It ain't easy. Next question. Yes, I do. And no, I've never worn women's underwear.
Next, it's the golden reach around droid you've been waiting for. It's Z3PO. I hope.
Good evening, sir. A very good pleasure to be here once again. And may I just say, Mr. Matt, I am indeed wearing women's underwear right now.
Are you well, Z?
Why am I not surprised?
I have been pilfering Aunt Beru's underwear drawer with all manner of useful things. Most of it in leather for some reason. She sure likes her studs.
Oh, God.
You know what my next question is, don't you?
No, sir, I'm not going to give you a free reach around.
Shit.
I think it was going to be send nudes, actually.
Damn. Okay. Last but by no means least, he's the wise elder of the channel, the writer, the portal director, paid up member of the Selfridges Appreciation Society. It's a great mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight?
You all right, buddy?
Yeah, doing all right. Doing all right. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
I'm
Are you
looking
looking forward to this? Yes.
Oh,
You're looking forward to it, yeah?
Always.
The usual bollocks every week. Same old
usual.
bollocks, but there you go.
The usual
Okay.
crap.
Yeah. But there is a highlight, and we'll save that to the end. So shall we get to it, boys and girls? Okay, so end of week musings, April 10th, 2022. Mr. Brown Alliance, please like, share, subscribe. I will just say hello to the chats. Mephisto, Jacob, Dermotson, myself, Brian will be around. And I will just say thank you, Brian, for taking one for the team. Thank you, my friend. Okay. This obviously is the turd that refuses to flush, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who would like to go first? Who's really into this program?
I'm not. This show sucks. This last episode was the worst. It was like 5 minutes. It could have been just bundled down to 5 minutes, and they just stretched it as long as they could. It was the worst. And there was a glee moment in there. I was not happy. I wasn't happy.
Would you care to elaborate?
Well, Agnes, the
Anything
doctor,
to do with this?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Which, can I just ask a question? If the Borg Queen has inserted nanites into her body, why is she talking out loud to her? Can't she just talk to her in her own head? It's so annoying. And then the Borg Queen, I don't know why. I'm so annoyed. But Agnes starts singing, and she's got a lovely singing voice, though. I'll give her that. But and music numbers aren't like, new to Star Trek. But it was I was like, where's the kitchen sink? Because I've had enough of this show. It just sucks. It sucks, and this episode really sucked. I was not happy.
I tell you what, she's a good drummer though.
Yeah,
She's a great drummer, yeah.
And I liked when Picard got hit by the car. I was like, yes, finally.
But he's already dead, so there's no point really in cheering, is it? He's already dead.
Yeah, they
That's
can't
the
kill him,
point.
can they? So
No.
then the hammer blow came down this week as well, didn't it?
Hammer
With
blow.
the season 3 trailer
Of what?
of this
Picard.
of Picard. Have you not seen it?
No, I don't
Oh.
watch Picard. Come on.
It was insulting. How insulting to the people that are on the show right now that they put that out while this show is airing. I was like, oh man.
Matt, do you think Matt Catt, do you think they know this program is dead?
I think. Well, didn't they say season 3 is the last one? And I think they know nobody's watching it except for people like myself that love to be tortured.
Yeah, apparently it was always planned for 3 seasons, but genuinely, do you think the producers know that this is absolutely dead?
I don't care.
I don't think they do. I think they think that it's really good and everybody loves it. I think that there's
No, it's all about people subscribing. It's got nothing to do with people watching.
Right.
That's basically what it is.
Well, who
Really.
would
Yeah.
want to subscribe to this shit? Okay.
Well, a lot of people, I think. I'm not sure.
Mephisto in the chat. God, who ever heard of dropping a trailer for season 3 when season 2 hasn't even finished?
Absolutely, yeah. It was weird. It was weird.
And then he says again, it screams of desperation.
Yeah.
It's also doubly insulting, though, given that essentially the premise as set up for season 3 is what most people really would have wanted to be the premise for season 1. If you're going to
Agreed.
get Picard
Yeah.
back, get all of the cast back, have a proper reunion, and actually
But that's what they're going to do, isn't it?
Well, they are going to do it belatedly, but not now until season 3. If they'd skipped season 1 and all the damage that did, and this season and all the damage that's done, and they just gone straight for this is the last final adventure of all the old crew of the Enterprise, that could have been an interesting, good, feel-good show that makes people happy and nostalgic for what used to be. But instead, they've taken all of this time to destroy the premise of the thing, and then they're going to start giving people what they wanted to see in the first place, as though they have any goodwill left to burn. But given what's happening now, I'm not sure there is any left.
Yeah, the mighty in the chat says they don't care, like the Mega Geek said. They don't.
Don't give a shit.
The previous scene, by the way, the one that we asked why the Borg Queen can't communicate in the head, there is a theory going at the moment, which is that this is a deliberate Battlestar Galactica reference, hence the dress, the blonde hair, and the communication with the sort of the in the head talking to the Borg Queen, and that's believable. It's just that the Cylon pulled the dress off considerably better.
Yes,
she did.
Well, don't they say in episode, not this last one, but the one before that, they're like, there's a lady here that doesn't belong, and she's talking to herself.
Yeah, I think they do, don't they? Yeah,
so,
that sounds right.
But in Battlestar Galactica, didn't she did he talk out loud? I don't remember. It's been so long.
He did, yeah, because there are awkward moments in BSG when Baltar is he's trying to hold a conversation with two people at once. One of them is real and one of them is in his head, and he has to keep trying to make it sound as though when he's talking to the woman in his head, he's actually talking to the person he's really speaking to. And they play that really well, and this series doesn't.
Yeah, sorry, it's been I haven't watched that since it aired.
I would just say when this trailer dropped, I have got the trailer, but I don't want to get the copyright straight.
Right.
When this trailer dropped, I just thought if this had dropped 2 years ago, my God, I would have been vacillating over this.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Right.
They don't care.
I just don't get it.
Can I say one more thing also?
Yes.
Did you notice Will Wheaton wasn't on the list?
Good.
Good.
Oh, he commented on it, but it was I was like, shut up, Will. Nobody wants to hear from you.
I'll just say I love this picture here. It looks like she's in the club, waiting for somebody to come along, and it's getting harassed by this freaky alien woman. Does not want to be chatted up by her at all, but she's got to sit there and endure it.
But the makeup is absolute rubbish, isn't it? The makeup for the Borg Queen.
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolute rubbish compared to the movie version and even the Next Generation version as well.
This looks like a photo from a bar at a cosplay event.
Yeah, it does. It does.
That's so true.
I've seen better cosplay. Okay, so we're all agreed this is a pile of shite.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pile of shite. And also, the whole reason this is happening is essentially because Science Lady is lonely. And the background for this entire episode is mental health and people feeling bad about stuff and how depression is a really big thing that you have to overcome. And it's a human thing and it's really terrible, but it's also validating and it means, it doesn't make you any less of a person. And just once upon a time, I mean, I've taken antidepressants. I get that. I get that it's a big thing, but almost every single Star Trek show now has these huge, long digressions on people's mental health. Everyone is fucked up. Everyone needs a counselor. And just how did these? So Picard's ancestor, who's the hinge point in history, might not go on a space mission and therefore change all of history because she's depressed.
Retcon.
But no serious. If she were depressed, she'd never have got to 3 days before a space mission anyway, because they filter you out. You're unfit to be there. But apparently, if you don't have depression and you go into space, then that's actually going to fuck history up more or something. I don't know exactly how this works, but
what we're saying is the only thing is this is causing us to get depressed watching this, so it's kind of having the adverse effect, isn't it? Really?
Wow,
so.
Yeah, I'm going to start popping the pills again.
Cheersies.
Utter bollocks.
They're really playing to their target audience, aren't they?
Oh God, yes.
You mean nobody?
Yeah, what audience?
Yeah. Okay.
I've not watched any of this. I mean, what are
Look
pronouns like in the future?
What are what's like in the future? Sorry.
What are pronouns like in the future?
Pronouns.
Are they all really on it with them?
In Discovery, what's her face? It's they
Space
and them.
Jesus.
Oh no. What's her? Gosh,
there's Adira and Gray, and there's so one of them decides that it's they them. I think.
Them, yes.
Oh God. All right.
Anyway, fuck it. Moving on.
But the computer, when that gets feelings, decides it's a her, and it says it feels wonderful to be seen.
Yes.
Well, at least the computer can
God.
define what a woman is.
So just to kind of close the topic, keys jangling, everybody, for next season. The keys are jangling, so prepare to watch. You know you're going to wankers. Okay. Morbius, who's watched this? This was
Yeah.
out this week.
No, I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard, after the success of No Way Home, Sony decided to royally screw the pooch on this one. So I'm relying on you guys to tell me whether I'm going to the cinema to watch it or not.
I think Lord Cord is the man to let us know about this. Go, Lord.
Well, on the basis, I watched it just to do a whole video on it, and I've done a whole video on it, and nobody watched the film, and so no one's watching the review either. But that's always encouraging. But the No Way Home point, it's one of the most cynical marketing ploys I think I've ever seen, because Spider-Man isn't in this film. It's barely related to the MCU. Sony has its own universe going on, which it's technically the Spider-Man universe based on villains in the Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man being present. But in all of the marketing material for this, it was from the studio that bought you Spider-Man No Way Home. There's a mid-credit scene at the end, which is 20 seconds long, which features Vulture. Obviously, we've seen him in the Spider-Man films. They put that in the trailer for the film. They put a mid-credit scene, 20 seconds long, in the trailer for this film to make it seem like it's much more closely related to something people would actually want to watch. It's such a cynical campaign, and it's no wonder it's been panned, because it's promising you stuff that it just doesn't deliver.
Well, you don't blame them from doing that. I mean, they are trying to sell the film, but I know exactly what you mean. It's just pointless if you're not going to do it properly. Let's face it. So I can't blame them.
I think Lord Cord was getting a little bit agitated in his voice there. Only
because I put 2 fucking days worth of video work into this piece of shit.
Well, now you know how it feels, mate. Never mind. That's YouTube for you. Okay, so Matt Katz, you've seen it.
I have, and I'm going to have to tell you, I actually liked it.
Right, that's a stream killer, everybody. Stream killer is off. What did you like it?
I just went in expecting, I had no expectations.
That's why you liked it.
I was like, it was not a great plot or anything like that, but I liked the science-y stuff, even though I don't understand any of it because I'm not that brilliant or anything like that. But I just went in thinking it was just stupid fun, and I had a good time with it, and but I get everybody's criticism. I totally get it. It's not Jared Leto's best, and the end credit scenes are just so weird and tacked on. I was all like when Michael Keaton, he shows up, and I'm all like, is he? I feel like Michael Keaton.
Spoilers, by the way, boys.
Oh, sorry. He's in the trailer, so I feel like. But when Michael Keaton shows up, his acting, I'm all like, did Michael Keaton watch a video of himself and then tried to imitate that video? And I was like, I don't get the acting in this.
So was it worth sitting through 2 hours?
No, wait for streaming. Yeah, wait for streaming. It wasn't. Right. It was. Yeah, I bought popcorn and all that stuff, and I was like, I spent way too much money on this movie, but I did have a good time. So,
anyone else seen it? No. Yes. No.
Good.
No. Anybody else bothered?
Not even watched the trailer.
I know. I just think nobody's bothered about this, are they?
I'm no fan of Jared Leto for a start, so immediately I was turned off.
Well, he's got the accolade now of being in both the worst DC and the worst Marvel movie.
Oh yeah.
I think apparently, so there's loads of stuff about Jared Leto and his method acting and how hard he works at all of this stuff. So, the Joker, he famously sends used condoms and anal beads to his co-stars.
Sorry.
And then he said that he did this.
Yeah.
And then people reported on it, and he said, no, that's just people making it up on the internet. But no, you said it in an interview.
What?
And your co-stars confirmed it. You can't blame internet trolls for repeating something you've said. For this film, he apparently tried to get into his role so much that he refused to go anywhere on set without hobbling on his crutches, and it took him so long to get to the toilet every day. The studio they actually got him a wheelchair to speed things up so he didn't have to leave character. But for all of this effort he puts into his characters, you cannot tell the difference. He puts so much work in, and he's a social menace while he's doing it for nothing. He's just Jared Leto again.
Well, I don't know. He's got you riled up.
Oh, yeah, but that's because he's really bad.
So he's done his job. So moving on. Okay, so other than that, you love it, don't you, Lord? You're well into it. You can tell. Yes.
I honestly can't bring myself to say yes, even sarcastically, for this film. It was just such a waste of time.
I think he likes it, boys and girls. Okay, so next. This is not out, but the new and improved poster updated this week. Swappers, have you seen the new and improved poster? Do you know the angle we're coming from?
Oh yeah, I did see this. Yeah, it's it's going to be the Scarlet Witch movie, isn't it? In all but a name, I think.
Yep.
The criminal.
They've done a Beyonce, haven't they? Because every time Beyonce is with the other girls, she's always in the middle. So they've stuck her in the middle, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, they cut Doctor Strange out of the end of the Scarlet Witch TV show.
They did.
He was supposed to be in there, and they edited him out. Yeah, because they can't have a man involved in her reformation or whatever it is, I suppose. And I did see a poster of this, although it wasn't this particular poster. It was kind of like
several. There are several about, yes.
It was her in the center, and then below her, it was that girl in the middle bottom left there, America Chavez, who's reportedly one of the most universally loathed characters in Marvel.
Yeah, I don't like her.
Yeah,
those comics sucked. They sucked.
Yeah. So they're forcing her into this movie as well. So it's going to be a bit sort of about whammon power,
whammon,
a bit about the feminism, and less about Doctor Strange and Sam Raimi's artistry. Sadly,
Jacob Ironside in the chat. Hello, Jacob. The new Scarlet Witch movie, and then Jacob follows that up by saying she suffers so much for people. They all do, mate.
What was that brilliant line? Was it the trailer or something else when she says of Doctor Strange that he broke the universe and he's a hero, and I did this and I'm portrayed as a villain? It's like, yeah, okay, but Doctor Strange was trying to save the universe, and you literally enslaved a town because you were sad that you lost your sex toy. So the two things are not comparable.
They are not. You're right.
I bet that town was insufferable one day a month.
But he says something at the end of Spider-Man, doesn't he, to her? Because she says, "Oh, I did something," and he went. In other words, he just dismissed it. Then he went, "Well, I'm not going to talk about that." Do you remember that at the end of Spider-Man?
That's not important. That's not important.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
people and mentally tortured them for like however many weeks. So it's fine. We'll let that go. Yeah. Like, what the
yeah, Wanda, you fucking psycho.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, why would Doctor Strange go to her knowing that she's done all that stuff? If someone had killed people, enslaved people, would you go for them for help? You wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't even trust them.
She's stunning and brave.
Yeah,
she's
I guess.
Brave.
Have any make her a villain? Is Scarlet Witch ever a villain in any of the comics?
She was, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And could they take that direction maybe, and then I don't imagine they will, because that would make she was bad. But
that's against the rules of Disney, isn't it?
It's like making Star Wars interesting by making Rey turn to the dark side. Never going to happen. They're never going to lose an opportunity for a Disney princess. You've got all of the villains from all Disney like remake movies and reboots, like Cruella and all these other things. They're just turning them into misunderstood
heroes,
anti-heroes. It's ridiculous. You can't have a villain as a villain anymore, especially if it's a woman.
Jacob's on top form tonight. Vibranium sex toy.
He wasn't made out of vibranium, was he?
Partially,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be Ultron's body.
That's right. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Have any of you read any of the spoilers that leaked online for this movie?
I feel there are spoilers approaching, boys and girls.
No, I won't say anything. I just was curious if any of you.
Go for it. Is anybody going to go see this?
No.
Sorry,
I am. I'll go and see it. Right. Do you notice that Doctor Strange is doing a Spider-Man with his fingers?
No, right on. Yeah,
I've got a story about that.
It's also a satanic symbol, apparently.
Is it?
The poster for Italy has been changed.
It's taking two fingers up.
Yeah, because that two-finger thing is an insult in Italy.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Katanga, my friends.
Katanga.
I've seen a picture of the Pope doing that, so that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's if you look at the Italian poster, different.
Well, at least they've not airbrushed any black people out of it, so that's progress.
Well, they've made him very small in the poster. Look how small he is compared to everybody else. But yeah. You're right.
So obviously,
Who's the girl in the background? The one in green.
the bestest ever.
That's the what's her face? The woman that he was in love with the first movie.
really?
Rachel.
What's her
Or
name?
Christine.
Oh, Christine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? That's her?
Yeah. Well, that's an alternate version of her. Sorry, I'm giving a tiny bit
Oh, I
away.
see. Oh, okay.
Because there's going to be
version.
a lot. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of
Spoilers.
variants in this movie, and that's one of them.
It's a big tie-in with the What If series as well. So you see the Doctor Strange Supreme, the Dark Sorcerer from the What If series is in there, as well as the Zombie Wonder.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
a
I
difference.
don't care. I really don't. Maybe I won't go and see this.
Well, didn't the end credit scene of No Way Home have Patrick Stewart's voice in it as well, kind of implying
Yeah,
that
he's in it as
Professor
well.
X is
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be in it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So the X-Men are coming. Hooray.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to represent the X-Men as we knew them, are they? Let's face it.
It's going to be the X people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
No, they will literally be X-Men.
Yeah.
no, it won't be. It'll be X them they.
Nice.
Stroke them
Yes,
they.
it will. The X-Them. There you go.
Yeah,
Them.
exactly. Exactly.
The She-Hulk poster has got. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but the She-Hulk TV series poster, the typeface for the title says She-Hulk, but it's done in the way that there's like a slash between she and Hulk, so it looks like it says she/her, but it's not a She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You know,
But they got that girl to play her, didn't they? That girl that was in that really good BBC stroke Canadian for a series.
Orphan
I don't know what it was
Black.
called. That was Orphan Black. She was brilliant in Orphan
yeah.
Black.
Tatiana
Yeah.
Maslany. I love her.
She's
great.
amazing in that show. She plays so many parts, and all of them very differently. What an amazing actress!
Yeah, like that actress from Star Trek Picard season 1 that played Soji. She did it was like she was the second coming of Tatiana Maslany.
Mm-hmm.
That was a joke. Sorry, it was a bad one.
I know it was a bad one.
Jacob Ironside in the chat. The Marvel franchise toys and comics are becoming shelf filler.
That is so true.
Whoa.
They've
I do
released
like
the,
Sam
the,
Raimi.
The Thor Love and Thunder toys, haven't they now? With what's her name? Is this
Love and Blunder.
Mighty Thor?
Yeah. Well, I buy action figures, and I only buy the Marvel action figures so I can tear them apart and make custom figures. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Are you like the boy in Toy Story where you
I was
take,
literally about to say that.
take toys apart?
Yeah. I think
So-
mine are better looking, but you know.
So quickly, panel, who's going to see this?
I am.
Oh, well.
I don't know. I might. I love Sam Raimi, so I'm hoping Sam Raimi hasn't turned woke and made this into a big
Yeah.
woke fest. I just hope.
Lots of rumours of cameos and reshoots.
Yeah.
There is.
I'm sure
But I
there's a
think
lot
the
of-
reason why everybody's all been spooked, because I've heard that everyone in Marvel's been spooked, is because of what happened with Sony's Spider-Man: No Way Home, and they're
What, a proper
spooked
film,
by
you
it.
mean? Proper film.
Yeah. Well, they're spooked by the success, but also I think Marvel. Well, I've got a contact at Marvel. Disney, saying that
Not Mickey Mouse, is it?
they want to try and imitate the success of Spider-Man: No Way Home.
What?
They want to. So I'm not surprised they did reshoots on this. So,
Can I just-
There are
can I just-
lessons you could learn, and they
Can
will
I-
learn the wrong lessons.
Can I just say, I think the Sony Spider-Man film was imitating the success of the previous Marvel films.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. So
I
basically,
don't get it. Idiots.
well, Marvel's Spider-Man, right, was very different from the other two Spider-Man. Also, very different in the comics. They picked up a couple of things from the comics, from the latest comics, like
Yeah.
Ned and stuff like that. But it was obvious to me it was a different universe, because obviously MJ doesn't look like MJ. MJ's a white girl with red hair.
Yeah.
This MJ, I don't know where she comes from, but she's not white. Put it that way. And Ned wasn't as big as he was in the comics, so it was a very different thing. And now everybody knew this was going to happen. Sony was going to come and reclaim Spider-Man, because they only rented that character out for so many years, right?
Yes.
So now he's back with. But I don't trust Sony either. I don't trust what's his name? Alv, the guy that produces it. He's an idiot. What's his name? The one who produced the Spider-Mans. Sony Spider-Mans. He's a
not
producer.
recall.
Alv something.
I don't
He's
know.
he's a real idiot because he was the one that actually was responsible for the Amazing Spider-Man was absolute rubbish, and the third Spider-Man, Raimi Spider-Man, and he forced what's his name to put all those characters in it, which destroyed the film and the franchise. So I'm even though I like Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm a bit up and down with what's going to come. If you know what I mean.
Right,
So.
okay.
I mean, Morbius was much more a return to form for Sony.
here we
Morbius
go.
is the kind of film that it's true. I mean, Morbius is the type of film that Sony produces. Sony does not do good superhero films. It never has done. No Way Home was the exception because, as you say, it was emulating the sort of the ingredients of what went into the Avengers. It was they told that story in that type of way, and it works. It always works. It was successful because it emulated that formula. But one of the Russos, I think, came out this week or last week saying there is no plan now for what happens in the future for the MCU. So it's not going to go well. They will try and learn lessons from No Way Home. They'll think if you put enough cameos in there, then everyone will love it. And that's exactly the wrong lesson to learn, because the only reason those cameos worked is that they had stuff to do with the characters. Instead, they'll probably do, as Mega Geek says, they'll probably do another version of the second Amazing Spider-Man film and just put cameos in for no other reason than to do sequel bait, but make the film crap so nobody wants to see anything. But a planless MCU is really not what we want to hear.
Well, they will certainly find out if it's any good on the second week. So, moving on. More Marvel Disney. Who's watched this week?
Me.
Z, do you want to
go? I'm enjoying it.
Stream Killer. And why are you enjoying it, my friend?
It's I don't know. Something I like about it. I think it's Oscar Isaac. I think he's an excellent actor.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
He's absolutely holding the series together. But I am still waiting for the bait and switch, and I know it's going to happen any moment.
You can just feel it. Can't you? You can just feel it dripping off the walls. Okay. Ian, you saw the first episode, yes?
I saw the first episode. I fell asleep halfway through it.
Good then,
there's something about women telling off men now that really gets on my wick.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of this, you got that big fat, and I say fat, blonde woman telling off the main character who is absolutely pathetic. And I just kind of gave up on it. I was watching it. I was thinking to myself, okay, whatever. And then I woke up and it was finished. So I was like, shall I go back and watch it? Watch the half that I missed. And I thought, nah. And that was it for me. Anyway, that's my 2 pence.
Matt Katz, have you seen it? Yes,
I did. I did not like it.
So have you seen episode 2?
Yeah, I saw episode 2. I didn't like it. I liked episode 1. I didn't like episode 2.
Why didn't you like episode 2? I can kind of guess why, but would you like to elaborate?
Well, I didn't like. Well, first, I do not like Steven. He annoys me, but I'm glad he went away. And it was just there was very little information given to us about what was happening, and then there was no action. There was a small 2-minute action sequence, basically Moon Knight doing parkour. And and then it was over with, and I was like, well, this episode, and then and then they basically told us where they're going with the bait and switch of his woman that is going to be the next Moon Knight, and I'm all like, oh, okay, well, I was like, I guess everybody's right, because I was hoping they wouldn't do it, but no, this episode was no good. It was no good.
Lost, have you seen it?
No, I've not seen any of it, and I just can't get myself up to do it. It's at all. There is no erection prospect from this show.
Well, I watched the second episode today, and I will agree with Matt Katz. I did like the first episode. I thought, oh, okay, they've not dropped us in it straight away, so okay, it's coming, but it'll be next week. So this week episode, I thought, I just kept thinking, just get on with it, for God's sake, just get on with it. And I don't know, it just, Oscar Isaac is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, Matt. It's coming next week, isn't it?
I think so.
The
I also
bombshell
like.
is coming next week.
I also like Ethan Hawke. I like him a lot. He's very
Yeah.
good. But other than that, and that blonde woman was fat. She was very fat.
She was, and she was irritating, and she was rude, and for no reason that I can see. Well, he was late, yeah, but I've been late at work once when I was working at Tesco's, and nobody treated me like that. And if they did, I would have told them to fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you just say, "Hey, please don't be late," and you'd be like, "I'm sorry," you know. And how does she know something didn't happen? There could have been an accident.
You know, Disney wants to show men being weak, and this is what I
did on episode 2. Yes,
I'm not gonna watch this again. Why would I watch it again?
Jacob Ironside in the chat. 2 things bothered me with the second episode.
Two things.
The wife coming in and she's able to beat men up with no problem, and she just runs from everybody, one of the 2. So there's another point coming. We will wait for that. But yeah, strong woman just coming in, cleaning up all the mess as they do.
Yeah, that's what they released that clip before the series aired. I think it was a week before, and I just saw it and thought, "That's it, I'm done." I was actually excited before that, and then I just saw that one clip and I thought, "There's the bait and switch."
Yeah. Kicking shit out of men who are built like brick shit houses.
Yeah, they don't even get one hit back because obviously you can't hit a woman, but women are allowed to hit men.
But you know what? I don't. You know. Okay, right. So James Bond beats up people of twice the size of him. I mean, Jaws, for instance. But I don't mind if women do that. But if they do it, if they choreograph it in a constructive way, that it looks kind of realistic. Do you know what I mean? Because you can take out a man by kicking him in the balls. Also, you can take out a man by actually hitting him in the solar plexus, and that would actually wind him. Or you can slap him around the ears.
Or the windpipe.
But not by punching him out. If you're tiny and the man is 6 foot, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So if they did it in a realistic way where a woman would take out a man twice the size of her, I would accept that, but they're not doing it.
Totally
women are picking up men 10 times the size of them and throwing them across the room. It makes no sense,
Like a wrestling match, isn't it? Like a little lady walking into that little granny lady from the old Warner Brothers cartoons taking on Hulk Hogan and just basically
and the second point from Jacob, second thing, he won't join the bad guys because they kill innocent people, then he chews out Mark for killing bad people. Crap writing, 2 of 2, those were the 2 things that stood out the most. So obviously Jacob can see more, but I think I totally agree.
But they do know how to do good, strong female characters in realistic-ish fight scenes with men. I mean, I think like Black Widow throughout the Avengers run, not the film, not the actual film Black Widow, but the Avengers version was really good. They did her character really well. That they showed her skill set and how that allowed her to beat up people who were 2 or 3 times her size. It was speed, it was intelligence, it was technique, and all of these things are that they make for entertaining fight scenes. They make for believable fight scenes, even if they are slightly super real. But as everyone said, it's when you start getting these weird sort of, I can just go for a slogging match, swinging fists when you've clearly never thrown a punch before in your life, and then and then an obliging stuntman will fall over for you, and everyone's supposed to be invested.
Unless if the woman is called Leah, what's her name? Thomas.
You ever see Atomic Blonde? There's a long fight in a room and a staircase, and it's really good because Charlene Theron, whatever her name is, she's really tall and she looks like she can throw a punch, and she was getting beat left, right, and center. She was getting smacked in her head. Do you know what I mean? And I could believe that fight. But then when you watch the Marvel Disney things, they obviously do it deliberately where you can't punch the woman can't get hurt. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And that doesn't work. That does not work.
I mean, when they get to like Phase 6 Marvel and they're really scraping the barrel and they cast Caitlyn Jenner as a role, then you can believe that. But at the moment, we're not at that stage. It's just irritating though, because I mean, comic book movies and video games in particular, they've always been male dominant. Like most of the fans of these are men. Like if you poll anyone, do any studies, most fans of these shows are men. So much effort has been put into getting more women to watch them, but that hasn't actually produced results. It's alienated. It's put off more people than it's gained back. And I'm kind of wondering what the best response. I mean, what the equivalent would be if men went to female-centric kind of genres and shows and completely rewrote those to make the women in those shit, and then gave them
Sex in the City,
like rom-coms. I'm going to. It sounds
Friends.
incredibly sexist saying all women just like rom-coms and teenage romance.
Well, they do.
But that's true. It's
Most
the
of
same
them.
thing as saying most men like city action flicks and like Arnie films and comic books.
But
Cool,
you're not
I'm-
allowed to nowadays.
No, apparently you're not.
But in
can't.
Endgame, right? Captain Marvel took on
Oh, no.
Thanos, right? And it shouldn't have been Captain Marvel. It should have been the Incredible Hulk because they have business to it.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Hulk should have went around with the Hulk rather than Captain Marvel. And this was the kind of the very first start of the MCU, wasn't it? From
Yeah,
Endgame.
definitely.
Yeah.
It's the one thing
I
that took me out of
agree.
that film.
I agree. I mean, there's a scene during Endgame where the Hulk says that it's mostly gamma radiation. It was like he was made for this.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to get cooked, isn't he?
And I expected that as soon as he did the snap, he was going to go rampaging Hulk,
Yeah.
which is 3 times the size of a normal Hulk and infinitely more powerful, and just go out there and twat most of the field.
Yeah. But he didn't, did he?
No, they
And-
nerfed one of his arms and said, "Fuck you."
Yeah, and also Thor was still fat at the end. I'm like, well why couldn't he have,
Fat
when
Thor.
when the lightning came out, why couldn't he have transformed back into his normal self and be all muscly and kick ass? And also Thor in the comics is maybe the second powerfulest together with the Hulk, I think.
Yeah.
Hero
Not
in
anymore,
the Marvel
not anymore, mate.
universe. And he was being bitch slapped left, right, and center by Thanos. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Well, he's
Yeah.
I
gonna
mean,
get
I
cooked
think
in his
Captain
film.
America had more of a punch up with Thanos than Thor, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It was the one thing that took me out of Endgame was when it's the bit just before everyone rides into the rescue and everything seems completely doomed and Thanos has this huge superstar destroyer blasting the field and they're about to lose. And then you see this streak of something coming through the sky, and you think, "Oh,
Streak of
fucking
shots.
hell, it's Captain Marvel!" And she just flies straight through, destroys the entire ship, and you think, "Oh, this was set up really, really well for a hero I actually like to save the day." But no, it's fucking Captain Marvel. Great. That's
Also,
the one thing I
where-
didn't like about it.
Where was the military? I mean, where was the
on
military?
lunch.
Why didn't they? Why didn't they have helicopters and bloody jet fighters to try
I
and
think
take out
they were all
Thanos as well?
busy in diversity and inclusion training at the day, so they couldn't actually go.
More to the point, where were Tony Stark's Edith drones?
Absolutely, yeah.
They should have rained hail down on top of Sanctuary 2 and brought that crashing down a lot easier than Captain Marvel ever would.
Also, just going off the subject slightly, I liked Endgame. I thought the ending was worth the ticket. But
I agree.
What I was disappointed with most of all was Thanos never got a good beating by anyone. That would have been the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
But he
It needed
didn't.
to be Hulk, didn't it? It needed to be Hulk getting his.
It needed to
getting
be
his revenge.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it needed to be. But
That's
anyway,
why I was out. I was out of the MCU at that point when they didn't give Hulk his due. I just thought, nah, you're done. Bye. That was it.
can't be a man.
Swappers, you're going to be watching She-Hulk then when he gets turned into a cook.
She Hulk. Yeah.
And
I probably am not going to be watching that. No.
And-
That actress is a really good actress, but she's also
Yes.
tiny, so I don't know really how they're going to make it work.
I heard they're gonna do the She-Hulk CGI.
Yeah.
Have they got enough money for that for an entire season?
I know.
alone?
Who knows?
And more importantly, folks, Time Prophet, he's got his new laptop working.
Excellent.
You can watch stuff now.
Hey-o.
Good news. There's a lot of good stuff for you to watch on at the moment. So you've got that
Yes.
at the right time.
Yes. Lord Cord's channel is quite good. And,
Do you know what?
It
The
is.
only
also.
thing worth watching was Reacher.
Oh my god, I love
time.
that show.
Reacher
Not
was
seen it yet.
absolutely
Got the
terrific.
episodes, not seen it yet.
Absolutely terrific. I
Good,
loved
yes.
it.
I
Yeah.
love those books. So the show was very good. I enjoyed it.
So I'll
Very
just say
close.
to everybody at home, Mega Geek recommends
Reacher. Good. It's good. Honestly,
Reacher.
there's one bit in it that you think it's woke, but it doesn't turn out to be woke. But apart from that bit, it's very much a man's world in that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Very much. And Reacher is a badass. That
He
guy
is.
could put someone out just by looking at him. Do you know what I mean? It's really good. It's really,
It's very,
really
very good.
entertaining.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Didn't it go partially woke though?
Just a bit, but it kind of went back. I mean, there is a character in there that really does not suit the character that's in the book, which is the private detective girl that helps him at the
Yeah.
end. Really, she should have been built like a shit brick house, basically, but she wasn't. She was just skinny. But in the book, she's gay anyway. So, so yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about Reacher at some point. When I've watched a few episodes, we'll come back and talk about it. So, who's watching Halo? Anybody?
Halo.
Inexplicably, I am.
I'm not.
Not interested.
Ben,
No.
what do you think?
So, episode 3. I mean, this is all going to be heavily qualified. It's all by
Spoilers,
comparison.
folks.
It's all relative. Episode 3 is the best of the 3 I've seen, I think, by some margin.
Yeah.
It's far less clunky. It does far less cheap and improbable explanatory dialogue. The CG isn't as shit. The action sequences aren't as bad. It's much more interested in the world that it's building. And the story does actually have room to breathe in it. And it has some interesting ideas and some interesting concepts. So by comparison with episodes 1 and 2, I'll say actually episode 3 is quite good. Still, if it weren't just by comparison, if it were just, say, a general comment on its quality, it does not deserve to have this much money spent on it. It probably shouldn't exist because it's still not good by comparison with anything other than
Halo,
itself. But it is Halo. You could do really good things with this show.
They could, yes.
They've started to indicate that they might be able to do 1 or 2 good things with this show. It's just whether they've actually kept anyone after episodes 1 and 2 who cares about it, and I'm not sure that they have.
Yeah, it's been renewed for, as I said, it's been renewed for season 2. And as I said last week, this was made practically 18 months ago, 2 years before the coup. So obviously we're thinking 2020 politics and stuff, maybe 2019 may change.
TV has changed though since the old days. In the old days, they were relying on viewership and adverts and stuff. Like now, they're relying on is people actually, being part of the channel, subscribing to the channel and stuff like that. That's all that counts. So people could subscribe to Paramount because they want to watch other shows that are more important than this. So it kind of holds it up a bit. So it's a very different model now than it ever was. Say,
And think of the number of people who subscribe to Netflix to watch Stranger Things and then probably haven't watched very much on it since the last season stopped, but have just kept their subscription going. That means that Stranger Things, no matter how good or bad it happens to be, and the most recent series has not been particularly good, it's still done its job. Same thing with Star Trek Discovery and Picard, and the same thing, as you say, with Halo. It's a big IP. It'll get people on to see what it's like, and if they forget to cancel their subscriptions or if they find something else that's worth watching, then Halo is, again, it's done its job and it's done it well. Whether it's good or not is completely irrelevant.
It looks good to the shareholders as well, if there's loads of people that subscribed and stuff. So
Paramount Plus has some good programs or good IPs, but the problem is it's the politics behind the programs and the message. Halo, excuse my French, could be fucking shit hot. There's a lot of people who would be really, really, really into this. To a generation, Halo is the bollocks.
I'm just hoping that the 80s and the 90s wasn't the last time we saw really good movies.
Same here.
I'm just hoping that in the future there's going to be really entertaining good. I mean, as I said, Spider-Man No Way Home was one of them, but one out of how many that was full of politics and nonsense,
They've made some very peculiar decisions with this as well. I mean, why not use the music from Halo, which is iconic? It's some of the best video game music that's ever been produced.
Yeah, did you notice how it was instead of using male choir, the Gregorian chanting, if I can say my words, female choir? Did you notice that?
I missed that change. I was still reeling from the lack of the main theme, but I did not notice that.
Yeah, the theme, instead of having male choir, female.
Yeah, and there is that slightly peculiar bit as well in episode 3 at the beginning, which is the slightly awkward bit with the two young kids who kiss, which is so I think we mentioned this backstage yesterday. So whether or not
yes.
it's being overly prurient to say that's
Their
in the post QT's generation. Are you even allowed to do that anymore?
Their programming is working, isn't it?
Well, it kind of is, but on the other hand, I mean, it's almost a shame that you look at it like that, because there have been some really good stories told, and there have been some good films. I mean, Moonrise Kingdom, the Wes Anderson film, which is a really charming film, which is essentially, it's a love story between, or like I say a love story, but it's a kind of childish romance, and the main characters in that, I think, between 10 and 12 years old, but it's not ever sort of creepy. It's all very innocent. And I think you could look at the scene in episode 3 as also being quite an innocent scene. The problem is we're in this post QT's generation now where everybody's hyper vigilant about this kind of stuff. Yeah. And it actually, that kind of excess in this area actually damages the whole, a bigger art form than itself, because it makes it very difficult to portray anything well, because everyone is already hyper vigilant and alert to this and thinking, God, is that actually a dodgy thing? Is there some sinister motive behind this? Is this another instance of mass media doing its Jeffrey Epstein thing?
Yeah.
And in a different time, that scene would have been perhaps kind of charming, but in the modern day,
said that yesterday, didn't we? 10 years ago, wouldn't have batted an eyelid.
Yeah, I mean, Moonrise Kingdom is a fantastic example of that done well. I mean, in books, the Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy, the last one of those closes with the two main characters who I think they're hitting puberty by the end of the final book, and so they fall in love. But it's done sensitively, it's done well. But if you put that on screen now, and even if you portrayed it sensitively and well, you would still find most of the audience really thinking that there is something slightly dodgy about that.
Yeah. It's a shame, because I genuinely think this program could be fantastic, but it's got the handcuffs on already, hasn't it? But anyway,
it does.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been a massive fan of Halo from when the first game came out. Absolutely adored it. Not only the game, but there were some incredible books written about the lore and the history and everything behind it. And I mean, it was incredible. It was like a great alternative to things like Star Wars and Star Trek. It was something new and fresh, and a bit of sort of a hint of other things, like a bit of aliens in there, a bit of all these other genres. But they made it work so well. All this based on a game that was just basically Doom, with some new game elements. And they managed to make this incredible franchise.
Marathon is the kind of what it was based on. Marathon, do you remember that in the 90s?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that was the original game by Bungie, right?
Yeah, Marathon on the Mac.
And I mean, I got my dad into all this as well, because he's really into sci-fi fantasy books, and gave him the first book. I think it was Fall of Reach, the first novel. Incredible book by Eric Nyland. I mean, like, God, I'm a massive fan of his now. Really accessible, really descriptive, brilliantly loyal, and pays a lot of respect to the material. Everything's so accurate. I'm thinking, geez, if they can get books and other entertainment that accurate and that good at honoring the source material, why the hell can't they do it with a simple TV series that's like just a handful of episodes long?
With Halo, though, the question is, why didn't they even want to try and do it? I mean, the first thing, one of the first things we heard from the creative team was that they deliberately didn't look at the games or the source material when they were creating it, and they saw fit to announce that. Who is that supposed to please?
Yeah, they might as well just write another series, not a completely different franchise, because it's just Halo in sort of a veneer, and that's it. That's all there is to it.
Spielberg behind this.
Yeah, Spielberg's gone woke though, isn't he?
Spielberg was also behind West Side Story. So
Amblin Entertainment behind this. Yeah,
they've gone woke. I think the reason why he has, somebody told me that one of his daughters is completely woke or gay or something like that, and he's bought into this nonsense. I mean, what a stupid idea! People speaking in Spanish in West Side Story, and he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any subtitles.
Fear of offending people.
I mean, Spielberg is not that stupid. Do you know what I mean? So
studios are, though.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Okay.
Well, he wanted to give the authentic Latino experience, but conveniently forgetting that they added subtitles for all the other world markets.
Yeah, which is insane. It's insane.
It's just stupidity at its finest.
It is. Okay, so
maybe you should learn Spanish.
I'm trying to.
Join the Latinx community.
Isn't that what they said on the red carpet? You should learn Spanish. Well, I'm in the movie theater right now. What do you want me to do?
Mucho gusto, Lost Cod.
Exactly.
It's stupid.
Okay.
It's stupidity of
Como
the highest
estas?
order. That's what it is. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just,
Yeah.
I cannot believe Hollywood these days now. In fact, they're doing more damage to themselves than they realize. You know, everybody used to think, wow, to be a movie star is this, that, the other. Now everybody's realizing that it's just absolute nonsense. Why would you want to be one of them now? You know, as Jim Carrey said, they're not the cool club anymore. They
They're
really
not.
are not.
Hollywood
No.
is dead, yeah.
So much of it is a decline in experience. So I was chatting after my last stream on my channel with Oscar the other day about actors and why they're all like this these days. And up until say the late 70s, early 80s, a huge number of actors had real life experience in industry. A load of them had fought in at least one of the wars that America had got itself involved in. They'd all had real world experience, and actually the acting profession tended to not necessarily lean to the right politically, but it lent much more to the right than it does now. The same thing with the teaching profession, not coincidentally. Then you get this generational shift that occurs sort of probably mid 80s onwards, and that generation of actors has disappeared. And you lose that knowledge base, and you lose actors who actually have a grounding in the real world. These people are now brought up, educated in acting schools. They've never actually been educated in anything that matters. They've never done a real job in their lives, and then they go out into the world and expect to be loved and feted for their achievements, but they don't have any, and they have nothing to back it up. And it's kind of a broader, I think, societal shift that it's mapping, but it's one of the many reasons Hollywood is now so vacuous and empty, is because there's no one in it who has experience.
They want everything.
Yeah, absolutely
on a
right.
plate.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I was directing some girl recently, and she pulled out the project because it was too stressful for her to comply. Basically, it's like these kids don't want to fight to actually achieve anything. It's like they expect everything to be
On a plate.
perfect on immediately when they start. It's absolutely crazy, you know.
According to Star Trek, that makes her an ideal candidate to go to space. So maybe she's got
Makes her an ideal candidate to be captain.
He's not bitter, though. He's not bitter. Okay,
Yeah.
So anybody watched this? Dropped this week. Anybody watched Tokyo
Did it drop
Vice?
like a turd in the toilet bowl? Did it?
Not yet, but I'm actually quite enjoying this.
Is that guy? Was he in?
Ken Watanabe? What's his name?
Was he in Rain? Was he in what's that film with Tony Scott directed with Michael Douglas? Black Rain. Was he in Black Rain? He looks like the same guy.
Ken Watanabe. He was in
Godzilla versus King Kong.
He was in that Tom Cruise film. Was it the the samurai thing, Last Samurai?
I think it's the same guy. I think he was in Black Rain.
He's a great actor.
Yes, he is.
This dropped this week, and it's the story is it's based on a true story. Round about the turn of the 1999 2000, a Western journalist working for a publication in Tokyo takes on one of the city's most powerful crime bosses. First episode was directed by Michael Mann. And it's kind of like a Japanese mafia type Miami Vice feel.
Is he dressed in a white suit and has his jacket rolled up to his elbows?
No, he isn't.
Wearing loafers.
I will say I've watched 3 episodes dropped, and I liked it. I'm in.
What's the fella like? He looks very young.
That's not the guy from Baby Driver, is it?
No, it's the guy's called Ansel Elgort.
How old is he? He looks really young.
He is young, but apparently I was just having a quick look at the Internet Movie Database. He learnt Japanese for the role, and he's fluent in Japanese now.
Good Lord.
So is he the journalist?
He's the journalist, yes. The story is he was just well into Japanese culture, and he wanted to. I think it was his father when they were living in America, who was like an investigative journalist, and he used to go around the kind of police rides for stories. So he was kind of well into that type of stuff, and he wanted to make it big in Japan.
Oh, like the song.
indeed. And he was basically just learning Japanese, and he had to take this exam to get into the #1 newspaper in Tokyo.
It's a true story.
It is, yeah. And I remember watching the scene. It was just like a room full of Japanese men and women taking the exam to get into the prestigious newspaper, and he was the only American. So obviously there's that kind of fish out of water element as well. But I genuinely would recommend this to everybody. It's really, really good.
I don't know. There's something about the American being in that culture. It's always, every time they portray it that way, it's always the American always basically comes out on the top. Do you know what I mean? I just
they do play on that a little bit by taking the piss out of him. So they are
but they normally starts that way, and then they end up on the top, like that stupid samurai film with Tom Cruise. He's the only one standing when all the Japanese people got killed. I was like, this is bollocks. Do you know what I mean?
I was expecting it, considering everything that's going on in the world in entertainment. I was expecting the worst, and I'm looking forward to episode 4.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they really haven't done a very good advertisement for this, because I only saw the one trailer, and like I said before, I didn't see. I didn't even know this dropped on HBO Max, and I have HBO Max. So
I will briefly say the reason why I know about this is because I was trying to organise a Star Trek 5 stream a couple of years ago, and I emailed one of the producers of Star Trek 5, Ralph Winter. And we developed a bit of an email relationship. And last year he said, we were trying to put the show on, and he said, "Oh, I'm in Japan, in Tokyo, with Michael Mann, producing the pilot." So that's why I knew about this program. And I thought, okay, I just stumbled across it this week, saying that it was out. Right, okay, we'll watch it. And it's really good, boys and girls. I thoroughly recommend it. So,
good recommendation.
Yeah. As I said, I was thinking warning bells. But
I don't understand these channels. Why don't they just put it out to the entire world? Because everybody knows that they're going to pick it up sailing the high seas.
Yeah.
So what is the point? You might as well just go HBO Max available to the rest of the world.
It's going to be, if you're in the UK, I think it's May 15th on Sky. Ian, I'd give it a watch. I think you might like it.
I'll give it a watch. Yeah, I'll give it a watch, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Tokyo Vice, everybody. Okay, so let's see what's next.
Doctor Who?
Yeah, I just saw this a couple of days ago. Apparently there was there's the meet and greet thing. Was it this weekend, Ian?
I don't know, but it looks like how many people are there with Jodie?
Yeah, so it says this is what Doctor Who looked like back in the day, with Tom Baker in the crowd, who didn't pay a penny to see him.
Yeah.
And what's the story behind this, Ian? Because
I don't know. I don't follow.
£220 to meet and greet.
Oh yeah, I know about this.
That's the story. Yeah.
But the problem with this is, you know what? I don't understand these people who did this latest version of Doctor Who. Don't they realise that years from now, they're going to be held as the ones that actually destroyed the franchise? Yeah. They're going to be the ones that are hailed the worst interpretation of Doctor Who. Don't they realise that? Or they just got blinkers on and just trying to ignore it?
Definitely blinkers.
It's crazy. How could they not see? Oh, I give up. I throw my hands in the air like I just don't care. Really.
Well, you do though. That's the problem.
No, I care about Doctor Who. Yeah, sure.
I know you do.
I don't. Look, look. If I don't like something, I will not support it. And I only watched the first season of the Jodie era, and that was it for me. But everybody else seems to slag it off, but watch it anyway. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah. The mighty Geek Watts in the chat. Train to Busan. This is directed at the Killjoy himself, Time Prophet. Train to Busan and Squid Games are amazing.
Well, he said they're worth watching, and they are.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good.
I will
But-
say, Time
Yeah,
Prophet, check out Tokyo Vice. I think you might like it, mate.
Squid Game, though, I'm a bit reluctant to watch the sequel because
Yeah.
where can you go with that?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? They're gonna stretch it out. That's
Will it be
what my
called
feeling.
Octopus Games.
Yeah. Goldfish
Can I
games.
just say, I just looked
Moving
up. Can I just say real quick about this meeting Jodie Whittaker? I don't watch Doctor Who, but 220 pounds, I think that's what that is. It's almost $300 in American
Yes.
dollars. That is so much money to meet one person. That is such an an extravagant expense. I don't understand how anybody could spend that much money to meet one person.
Matt Katz, I'll just throw that back at you. Who would you pay $300 to meet and greet? Who would you pay that amount?
You know what? Gina Carano. I would love to meet Gina Carano for $300.
There you go, Gina. You're missing a.
I would love to meet if I think it's cheap to meet Spielberg and have a talk with him about his career and stuff.
Would you
That
pay
would be
$300
amazing.
for it?
I'll definitely pay $300 to see Spielberg or talk, just have a one-on-one with Spielberg for an hour just to pick his brain and stuff. You know, that would be amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Z, $300. Who would you pay?
No one. Do you know how many hookers I get for 220 quid?
Yeah.
So
Lord
you would
Cork,
pay. So you would pay that money for hookers.
Lord Cord, who would you pay 300?
George Lucas for an off-the-record chat on what he actually thinks of the sequel
Yeah,
trilogy.
There's a journalist for you, boys and
That's
girls.
great. That's absolutely great. Yeah.
There's
But
a
Jodie's
journalist.
a big waste of time. I mean, the thing is, though, they could have got this right, completely right with the female doctor. They could have done it right instead of all this woke stuff. They could have made her more feminine. She could appeal to the boys as well as the men if she was very, sexy and whatever. Do you know what I mean? But they didn't do that. They
Haley
decided
Atwell.
Yeah, they could have got Haley Atwell, which she would have been amazing. Nobody would have complained. Do you know what I mean? And also address her as a woman. But they didn't. They just made her into this them-they thing, and I don't know, mate.
Yeah.
The world's gone crazy. What can I say?
In the chat, I would pay £220 to give Jodie a custard pie in the face while she lectures me on woke politics. And then Killjoy in the chat says, I would pay $1,000 to meet Tom Baker again. I met him once.
We wouldn't.
Swappers, who would you pay $300 to see? Meet.
Oh, it's already been said. Really, Ben got in there before me with George Lucas, but in the absence of that, probably God. And what the fuck he's up to?
Would you say to Lucas, how the fuck do I finish this book?
I'd like to have a talk. I'd like to get him to read it and see what he thinks, just to see how in the theme I got everything, in relation to his original vision. But he'll be sitting there for a good month, I think, reading it. It's that long. But I think I'll probably have to pay him a lot more. But yeah, I'd love to get his opinion generally.
Do you have an ETA on when it's going to be done?
No. I mean, I could say I could have it done in a month, but like a million things will probably happen to stop me from doing it.
Yeah.
If that happens, I've got all this other stuff going on, and you have to really sit there and apply yourself without any distractions, and it's barely possible to do that. I think
Life is what happens when you're making plans. Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, looking at that, the picture, the good old days. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Jodie, but I would say this picture is a bit unfair. Obviously, they're having a pop at her.
Yeah.
Because 220 quid. Yeah, I agree. That's she should be doing it for free. And secondly, right, the Doctor Who was insanely popular when Tom Baker was doing it, and it was a different time as well. So you can't really compare it both, but I do get what they're saying. So
lots of pictures floating around today of Peter Capaldi signing TARDISes for like 5-year-old boys and being super polite and fantastic.
Yeah, because he's an older gentleman and he knows about being grateful.
Yeah, class act. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Does the new episode, is it next week that drops, that pirate thing? I think it is.
I'm not interested. I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, who cares? No one really.
Okay, so we'll just a couple more things before we finish. Matt Cat, you'll be pleased at this.
Yes.
Season 3 is go.
Yes, I'm excited.
Thank
Hey.
Fook. And the finale of season 2 will air June 21st, 2022.
Yes, which I was happy about because I thought next week or this week coming up would be the last episode because they hadn't announced it. But I'm happy there's going to be more this season.
They're having problems getting the production, basically getting the episodes out quick enough, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a huge problem because people that I know watch this show. They're all like, they don't ever know when it's coming on, and I'm all like,
how are they getting season 3 when the actual channel itself is dying?
It's gonna go to HBO. Max.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
I think that's why it looks so good because HBO Max have been putting some money into this, and it's still the best program on TV at the moment that everybody's not watching, isn't it?
Yeah.
I agree with Rennie though. He's an ugly Superman, as Rennie would say. He's an ugly Superman, fugly Superman.
Fugly, yeah.
Fugly, yeah.
Z, you like this, don't you?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I think it's actually a really good Superman, although it really irritates me that he doesn't shave.
Yeah.
That's kind of a really big giveaway. Smallville's a very small town.
Right.
You see how they divorced it from the Supergirl world, don't they? They completely don't mention any of that stuff at all. So, which is a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, for the best.
Super what now, Ian?
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, I would just say to everybody, best program you're not watching, boys and girls.
Is it getting good ratings, this show?
The last time I checked, it gets like 700. It gets 1 million for the first 2 episodes, I think, this season, but it dropped down to like around
700,000.
Yeah.
In the States,
7,000.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really bad.
If this was weekly, it'd be doing really well, wouldn't it, Matt Katz?
I think it's really because they really even me sometimes I get caught up in where's the new episode, and I'm like, oh, it's not until next week. I'm all like, well, this is horrible. They just I don't think they get that part of it out to people well enough, and I know they've had production issues with COVID and stuff, though, but I still just go, you guys got to do better with this stuff because when people don't know about it, it's really hard.
Well, that's the thing, you see. This is the reason why I don't understand why these channels just don't have a door that opens that the whole world can access, because it makes no sense that you would have exclusively on a channel that doesn't open up to the rest of the world, because people are going to go to sites and they're going to download it anyway. They might as well just download it from the source, because if ratings doesn't matter and all that matters is that you subscribe to the channel, you might as well. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is with this, you can watch, if you're in the States, you can watch this free on the app the following day.
That's what I do. I watch it on the app the next day.
But the rest of the world, though, it's hard to find the latest, isn't it? Yeah. You have to go have to sail the 7 seas just to see an episode, which makes no sense. How is that helping them?
It's not. You're making a very good point. It doesn't help them at all.
It's because streaming services are basically a pyramid scheme. Their whole investment proposition is this will work as long as more people subscribe. In other words, this investment will be really successful if you get your friends along too. Pyramid schemes in any other context are either illegal or doomed to fail, and this will probably happen with streaming services eventually as well. But you're completely right. They've had this problem with, say, Star Trek Discovery when they pulled that from Netflix and stuck it on Paramount Plus, which isn't available in the international market. And the 5 people who watched that show complained, and then they had to find some other channel to put it out on so international audiences could see it. But you can kind of see eventually that the competition will force them to start at least dropping subscription prices. And if not, you might find they revert back to an open model which subsists on advertising. Paramount Plus runs adverts, as I understand it, anyway, so you have to subscribe and watch adverts, so you're not even getting the benefit of a subscription service in that way. But like you say, the fact that people can get it online anyway means that when they've finally seen through this myth of streaming service economies, you might see them go back to that kind of model where they open it up and just say, fine, watch it for free, run ads on it. And that's the only way we can subsist on this model.
Yeah.
That seems to be the most logical way to do any kind of streaming channel. It's just because if you open up to the world, it's going to get more than 700,000 people watching it. It's probably going to be close to 1 million, maybe 1.2 million or 1.3 million even, and that's worth it for the advertisement people to actually put adverts on their channel. That makes sense. You're going back to the other model, which is the network model, but this time you're opening it to the world, to the entire world. So it makes sense to do it that way rather than subscribe to this channel and only you can see it, or only this percentage of the world can see it, because that makes no sense whatsoever as far as I'm concerned. Then again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not in the channel building business.
Okay, right.
They could like stream it on YouTube and just rely on super chats. That would be an alternative model.
Good, yes. Okay,
they could do.
Yeah,
watch it.
I think that's it.
I'm going to talk about Ipcris File that got released on ITV.
Not seen it. Not seen it.
I saw one episode. I think 2 episodes. That was enough for me. I reckon.
Okay. I will just say to everybody in the chat, cheers, boys and girls. Thanks for popping in. We're going to try and make this a regular occurrence, just for an hour on a Sunday, just to kind of see out the week. So if you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Perhaps please consider donating to the channel. There's links pinned everywhere. I will thank the guests. Swap Shop, thank you, my friend.
You're welcome. Good to chat to everyone.
It's good to have you back.
Okay.
Z, cheers, pal.
Always a pleasure, my friend. See you on the next one.
Hope so. Matt Katz, cheers, my friend.
Oh, thank you for having me. I had a good time.
Ian, cheers, pal.
No worries, guys. No worries.
Normally you would be last, but it's Lord Cord. Thank you.
The Lord is a cord.
There you go. I've deigned to give you my presence this evening. You can kiss the ring after the show.
Thank you, Lord. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Before we go, one more surprise. I think Ian will like this. I'll play the trailer and then we will end the transmission. So we won't discuss it. We will leave you wanting more. I will just say, if you've not seen this program that I'm about to play the trailer for, it's out in 2 weeks' time. You've got 2 weeks to get up to speed because it is fucking awesome. It is fucking awesome. So I will just say to everybody, good night. Here we go.
Can you handle more amazing news?
And yet, I ask to be forgiven. Knowing the life that I've been living.
We've both done terrible things in our lives, but everybody deserves a second chance. I believe that you can be the version of yourself that you want to be.
I need a purpose. Forgiveness is something that has to be earned. It's like that line in Shawshank Redemption. Get rich or die trying.
If I don't do this, I don't live! I have to do this to live!
When I met Mr. Cousineau, I was a lost soul. He didn't just teach me how to be a better actor. He taught me how to be a human being. He saved my life. You look good.
So do you. I'm like legit nervous.
If we don't hear from you in 2 hours, we will all take cyanide pills.
What? Ciao, babies.
I'll see everybody. Good night. Take care.